thanks for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just happen to absolutely love this video, please consider liking it, commenting, subscribing, or following me on Instagram. All of these things help me grow my channel like a plant. Okay, for today's video, obviously a lot of us have houseplants for the beauty of it, to kind of enhance the look of our homes or our apartments. Today's video is going to be 6 of the houseplants in my personal collection that I love aesthetically and I think any home can really benefit from. They're all easy care, very different from each other, so stay tuned and let me know what you think. We're gonna start off with a fun one. The first one I want to talk about today is, oh my god, ew. The first one I want to talk about today is the Rickrack Cactus. This plant I have talked quite a bit about on my channel because I just think it is so much fun. It's not quite a desert, it's not a desert cactus, it's a tropical cactus. So they require a little bit more water, potentially humidity, than your desert cactus that you can kind of just leave in your windowsill and forget about once in a while. These require a little bit more care, but I love the look of them. They kind of have the vining element while still being very shrubby. So they do eat up a lot of space and can really boost some green into your home. The leaves have this little gorgeous cutout shape that they are known for. And these are very similar looking to the fishbone cactus plant, but this is a rickrack. Yeah, they grow, I have to be careful, they have spikes. They grow their little aerial roots. They grow a little funky if you propagate them, as you can see here. These are 2 plants that I purchased separately and stuck together. That was a little bit more affordable at the time than buying a larger one. Oh my god, I love her so much. I spilled soil everywhere. Wet soil. Next up we have, okay, I'm so obsessed with these right now. Dracaena. This is a Dracaena marginata tricolor specifically. What kind of makes it a special Dracaena marginata is the pink stripe on the outside. There we go. And this Dracaena, I am just on some weird wave. I've been including them in my trends videos, in my houseplant favorites, and I am absolutely going to be including it in the most aesthetic plants, in my opinion, because it's a tree without being a full commitment of a tree. You can get them in so many different sizes and they can grow into such unique shapes that I think you can either have a smaller one like this or you can have a really large statement, almost like artsy looking, sculptural is the word I want, a sculptural looking Dracaena, because the stem will grow out and it's pretty natural for the leaves to start dropping as the trunk kind of settles in. Then you can have the trunk grow in all different windy ways and you'll have these little pom-poms up top with all of the foliage. The growth, like I said, just allows for so many different unique kinds of Dracaena in your home. You can really find one to match the space you need to fill. In my house, I would love to get one of the big sculptural ones I've mentioned, but there's just no room. Maybe one day. So for now, I just have my little 6-inch pot. I mean, hopefully one day she grows up to be big and strong and sculptural on her own. These plants are very easy care in my opinion. First of all, because of the growth pattern. It's so, what's the word I want? Visually forgiving to leaf loss because you'll be none the wiser. They just kind of start dropping from the bottom and you have your little pom-pom and it's fine. They are drought tolerant, so I would err on the side of caution and only water them when they're dry. Bright and direct light like most tropical houseplants, and it's probably gonna have, crispy tips like this are just so common, almost unavoidable. All in all, I don't have any supplemental humidity around her and I have plenty of new growth coming in on the top. And not all of the leaves are crispy at all. The only thing I will say is that because these plants grow out quite a bit, I would keep this away from any high foot traffic areas because then you'll probably have some broken leaves like this and the swishing like this over and over and over will probably also lend yourself to some crispy tips. This is also a cat magnet. They like absolutely love this whole thing. So just gonna warn you about that. Okay, next up we have the Hoya Carnosa compacta. Has always been one of my favorite houseplants to have displayed in my home. I think that, first of all, like the Rickrack, the leaves are just so unique and they've totally made their rounds. It's not as unusual and, you know, rare of a plant as it may have been maybe a few years ago. I still don't want this uniqueness to go amiss. It's a super cool plant. And on top of that, I think it just goes with a lot of styles. It can definitely be dressed to be more minimal, and the texture will add a little bit of visual variety to a space, or it can absolutely enhance a very urban jungle vibe where you just have green all over your home. It's just a very vibrant, interesting plant, and it's simple and it grows very nicely. Like, it's vining without the whole stress of legginess and da-da-da-da. For care, you want to make sure you have a healthy one for it to look fabulous. So I recommend bright and direct light. This Hoya in general can withstand a bit more of direct light, but this one in particular will get a little bit chlorotic without having a very beautiful sun-stressed look. For example, hold on. This Hoya Sunrise will get this lovely kind of like autumny color palette when it starts getting sun-stressed, so I don't mind that one being in the windowsill, but this one just kind of gets chlorotic, so I steer clear of giving her too much sun. I water her when she's dry. They're very vocal. You can pinch the leaves together and see how much give there is. If it's a very succulent leaf towards the base, you know that that plant is full of water. If it's very flimsy and bendy and wrinkly, then that's a plant that needs a little bit of water. I have her growing in a nursery pot. A lot of people say Hoya grow, oh my God, I'm like coughing. Hoya grow better in nursery pots over terracotta. I have them grow in both and it's fine. But you wanna be a stellar Hoya parent, go for a little plastic or ceramic pot. It's stunning, and the shade of the leaves are so simple that any pot color really like helps accentuate the plant, in my opinion. I've popped her in a few different cash pose and she always looks stunning, in my opinion. Okay, next I want to talk about Pothos, because although common, I never want to dismiss how aesthetically pleasing Pothos are, because first and foremost, they are so easy care, and healthy plants, in my opinion, are always the most aesthetic because they just look great, they're lush, they're full, they're adding the green and the jungle vibe that people want. This here is a Marble Queen Pothos, so we do have a little bit of color variety in here with the variegation, but you can also just get a golden Pothos, a regular green Pothos, whatever you want. And again, it can go anywhere. It can go in a minimalist home, a maximalist home, it can go rustic, it can go chic, like literally whatever you want. This plant will absolutely lend itself to the environment, and you can dress it up in the pot. I think that this is one of the easiest plants to reach for good reason when you are dressing up your home with plants. It is not overrated at all. I will scream from the mountaintops to get yourself a Pothos if you want to add a houseplant element to your home without stressing too much. Next, we have the Sansevieria or Dracaena, whatever, Fernwood Mikado. This is a type of snake plant, but I love this one in particular over the very common Laurentii because I just think structurally it's a bit different, and I love adding variety within my collection and keeping it simple but a little bit unpredictable. And I think that this plant is a great way to do that. You still have the perks of it being a snake plant, so it's very, very easy care. You don't have to go crazy watering it. It can survive in lower light, but it'll really thrive with bright and direct light. Like this one's sitting in bright and direct light, kind of direct light right now. And she loves it. She's doing fantastic. This one grows a bit more shrubby just because there's a lot more leaves coming through, and it's just different. I think it's pokey. You can get a bigger one if you really want to take up the space with something different. Like, I love how all of these plants that I'm talking about today are space eaters while still growing very compactly. Like, you don't have to go crazy pruning it all the time. They're very controllable, and they all have like a little bit of a different leaf shape, color, vibe. This has been one of my favorites for so long. She's just so fun and like easy, and I just want to squish her all the time. You don't want to maybe do the typical snake plant, but have the perks of it. This is a great plant to go with. Okay, and last but not least, very complementary to the Marble Queen Pothos we talked about, is the Peru. This is a plant that I used to talk poorly about, but I have so painfully come around. I was so wrong. It was when this plant was crazy expensive that I kind of thought it was a bit overrated, but now that it's affordable, I mean, full transparency, my friend gave me this one, but I know they're more affordable now, and I would spend money on this plant. This is a fantastic vining, I think very aesthetically pleasing plant. You can absolutely, like we talked about, get a Pothos, which has that vining element that some people are really after in their homes when dressing their spaces with houseplants. But what I like about this plant is it's very similar purpose to the Pothos, but it's just a little bit different. And it again comes down to the leaf texture being so wrinkly. The leaves are a bit thicker, they feel more succulent, and I think that either instead of the Pothos or complementary to the Pothos, this is a really great way to have a very subtle, chic plant that still introduces some green, but has visual variety with the texture of the leaves. It is just a very cool, leathery plant, and I personally am in a place where I don't know, I love playing with color with houseplants. I definitely enjoy a little pop of color, whether it is a neon pothos or an Aglaonema wishes for some pink, but I think I'm in a place where I really appreciate variety in texture, in leaf shape. I really wanted to express that today in this video and give you a fun little selection to choose from. If you're looking for some, you know, popular plants that are easy to take care of and will very easily greenify your space. So I hope that helps. We love a little trendy video. Please let me know if you have any of these houseplants or if you have any aesthetic trendy plants that you want to share. These are just my favorites in my collection. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!